If I spill this bottle of water, my desk and everything on it will get wet. Oh my goodness! My desk and everything on it has gotten wet for reasons I can't understand! How could this have been prevented? Now, in the current state of the internet, I think it is crucial that we reinstill the ideas of consequences and cause and effect. I really hope this is a good metaphor, because if not, I gotta clean this for no reason. Because I am sick and tired of people not realizing what they're getting themselves into by being so open online. I will never understand a human being who is not being held at gunpoint, who makes a video and in the midst of it says something to the effect of, I hope so-and-so doesn't see this. I've got an idea for you, buddy. Don't make it then. Because there's only two outcomes for this. Either the video does well or it doesn't. And of course you want it to do well. You want everybody to see it. Why'd you make it then? But like, one of the direct consequences of a video doing well is that whoever you didn't want to see it is now going to see it. And like, if you didn't want it to do well, then why did you even post it? You could have just keep it to yourself. Tell your friends, put it in a group chat. I don't know. Why am I hearing about it? So why do people act like fools on the internet, get too personal, and talk about things that probably should have stayed in the vault? I've got two ideas. Some things just don't need to be shared with everybody because not everybody has the bandwidth to deal with all of your problems right now. And when you try and get really personal with a person who is not ready for it or is unwilling to do it, the reaction is not flattering. And on that note, your life isn't the Truman Show. Not every part of your life needs to be broadcast, retold, or repurposed as content. Some things you can just keep inside. I think all of those points can be so accurately portrayed in the following example.
I am processing the most triggering breakup I've had in 9 years.
Wait, so my entire family just died in a plane crash? No, sorry, I just don't really know what to say. Could I actually call you back later?
Let's analyze, shall we? I'm sure going through a breakup can be very tough for many people, and I think many people can relate to that struggle, and I'm almost impressed and flattered that you feel comfortable sharing this experience with us. But my dear, why would you share it like this? Because I think this perfectly exemplifies that there is a difference between being authentic online and just like the death of privacy. Because there are multiple videos about breakups. You know, people being very somber, I don't want to say serious, but they're being very real about an experience that they've gone through with another person. They're not as many jokes. It's not exactly light, but it's not too heavy. You feel like this person is being open, honest, and raw. But for your own sake and dignity, not everything needs to be disclosed, and certainly not everything needs to be depicted. Do we see the difference in the two scenarios that we've just seen? Both are essentially the same thing, except one is positively received, and the other one is not, because the second one just seems more real. It feels like a real conversation you could have with a person, and you kind of see that the person respects themselves by deciding to keep some details private. And because we see that this person respects themselves, we respect them. In fact, we can even feel flattered and honored that they decided to disclose any details in the first place. People view social media as a representation of who they are, a mirror of their life almost, which is kind of true to an extent. When you first meet somebody, what do you use to make a judgment of who they are? Probably something like how they dress or who they're friends with or how they speak, you know, something like that. Now it seems that you can add social media to that list because somebody's social media presence kind of says something about them. Even if they don't have social media, that idea of, no, I don't use Instagram anymore, you know, it wasn't good for me. That kind of speaks to that person, good or bad, you make your decision. Part of your first impression of a person. For example, if this girl had this as her Instagram page, that would make total sense, right? No, but nobody disagrees. We're all in agreement. That's accurate. But what if it was his Instagram account? I know I'd have a question or two. Point is, social media is part of how we judge people now. Are these identifiers such as looks, who we hang out with, how we speak in our socials, are those what make us who we are? Absolutely not. But you can't deny when you're meeting somebody for the first time, these are the only things you have. Therefore, it makes total sense that you would want all these things to make you look good. So on this whole thing of being authentic and real, I think it should be noted, it's not vain or fake to want to present yourself well. You dress well and you groom yourself not because you're afraid to be the real you, it's because you're a normal adult and showing up to your friend's classy dinner party in sweat-stained sweats is not the move. Therefore, it is not inconceivable that your social media presence doesn't necessarily have to reflect the rawest version of yourself. It's okay to put up a bit of a facade just to represent who you would like to be, not necessarily who you are. I think we're all okay with the idea that social media is a highlight reel. We just understand that fact and we don't read into it too much. You know, like I don't need to know everything about you, man. Just give me the basics. It can be easy to overshare when you're tricked by the illusion of closeness. When you're around someone a lot or you'll have to interact with them, sometimes there can be something lost in translation where you think that, oh, because I see them all the time, we must be close. Think like coworkers and classmates, but really, that doesn't mean I know you. I don't even have to like you, I just have to see you. So although we are constants in each other's lives, it speaks nothing to our level of closeness. And I think this illusion is very easy to fall into on the internet. Again, you have millions of fans singing your praise, adoring everything you do. You think that these people love you, they know you, and they trust you. You have a deep relationship with them. You can get vulnerable with them if you need to. And for certain creators, that may be more true than others. But the fact is, in reality, you don't really know them, and they don't really know you. So one day you get a little bit too comfortable and say something that probably should have stayed in a journal of some sort, and then now we're all uncomfortable because of it, and we have to make fun of you now. There's no other choice. You did this. There are more productive methods to dealing with heavy and confusing emotions than to simply disclose them to anyone with ears. Have you considered interpretive dance, perhaps? Now, I'm not saying never let anybody in and only talk about the surface level, and your life is a fortress, and anybody who gets even close to your walls, you have the right to immediately shoot down in cold blood. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be aware of your surroundings and play it by ear. You know what that means in your life. Apply it accordingly. For example, I hate small talk, and I will always try and forge a close connection if I can. So there was this one time where I was with a friend I didn't even really know that well, and we were all hanging out and talking. So I was like, hey, how you doing? Is everything okay? She was like, yeah, well, not really, it's all right, but I haven't been feeling too great these past few days. I don't know. And I see this is my chance. So I'm like, hey, we trying to get into it or what? What are you thinking? She's like, yeah, let's get into it. And so I respond naturally, all right, tell me about your father. Now, I thought it was funny. My friend thought it was funny. My sister, to whom I retold this story, she did not think it was funny. But that kind of demonstrates the whole point that I'm trying to make. You gotta play it by ear. People are gonna react differently. You have to move accordingly. So if my friend did not laugh when I said that, that would have been my cue to cut the jokes, apologize, and lock in. We gotta be self-aware. It should also be noted that oversharing is typically defined by the context of the situation. For example, sharing a funny story about your dead parents is okay on TikTok, I guess. On the first day of class during your icebreaker session, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. Also, don't feel that every single emotion and thought needs to be displayed to the outside world, because they don't. If you think they do, that's very stupid. Because oftentimes feelings change, and that's normal and that's good, but once you've already voiced a feeling, changing that voicing of that feeling can be difficult, and then changing that voicing of that feeling can be even harder, and then any changing of voicing after that is just annoying. Almost as annoying as the phrase changing of voicing. Like, have you ever had a crush on a person for like a week and then get over it after that? That's a normal phenomenon. We've all been there. But are you an idiot and you told that person how you felt as soon as you did? That's different. You moron. Because now you've put everybody in an uncomfortable situation that nobody asked to be in, and it was just stupid. If you took a week more to kind of understand how you felt, you were patient and had some sort of self-control, we'd all be better for it. But now we're here, and nobody likes it here. Why would you do that? So as a general rule of thumb, understand how you feel and what you mean before you put blanket statements out into the world, because it is difficult to take them back. It is most definitely not desirable to have to keep amending and changing what you meant, because it's kind of like when a company announces a product that is nowhere near being ready, so there's a bunch of delays and bugs and patches. Nobody likes that. No one likes that. And look, I just want to take this time and say, look, I'm sorry. I'm not a therapist, and I hate that every time I do a video like this, it always comes back to your feelings and what's your relationship with your father and everything about your childhood and your upbringing. I'm sorry. I'm not a therapist. I don't have my stuff together. I'm a 20-year-old, and I spent 2 hours on TikTok in my bed this morning, all right? I'm not fixed. It's just the more I do research on actions and behaviors of people on the internet, it always comes back to the human psyche, all right? I'm not a psychologist. I'm just trying to... I Google things sometimes. As we've discussed prior in other videos, attention is a powerful thing that we all want. And on the internet, it's pretty much a drug. Again, you can literally have millions of people singing your praises and making you believe you could do no wrong. You can see why that's tempting, right? And in a very weird way for me, I can kind of speak on this just a little bit. There is something about the rush of dopamine for me to make a new video and then to see all the notifications come in of like nice comments from people. It's always nice. I enjoy it. Thank you very much. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I'm okay with that. But attention doesn't always have to come from doing something good. In fact, to do that, you'd have to be like talented or skilled or disciplined in some way, shape, or form. That's boring. I don't want to do that. Like, think back to your school days. Who typically got like a lot of attention from classmates and faculty? On the one hand, there were the smart kids. They got good grades, they were on honor rolls, straight A's, all the teachers liked them. You always knew who to partner with when there was group projects. They always did well in the test. And yeah, because of all that, they got good attention. But then there were also the not good kids. They would always disrupt class, and like the principal knew them on a first name basis. And like there was that one time that they slapped the substitute teacher. We all had like one of those. Right? That's not just me. Frankly, I'd argue that that kid got way more attention than any smart kid because shock value is more worthy of immediate attention. If you weren't paying attention, you're paying attention now. Shock value, baby. Look, you can think about it like a math equation. Shock value equals attention equals money and internet fame. Great, simple enough. So all you have to do is go on your phone and record yourself saying or doing the most grotesque and offensive thing you can possibly think of. But you're not going to do that. Why is that? Well, because I didn't fully break down the equation. You see, shock value is really just a variable. The equation for that variable being bad actions minus shame. Look, I'm sure you can think of a terrible action or a terrible monologue or hey, maybe even a terrible word that would get you a lot of attention on the internet. But because you're an adult with a working pulse and an ounce of shame, you're not going to do it. Or at the very least, you're not going to do it with the intention of getting a lot of people to look at you doing it. Societal shame is so important because it's exactly what prevents you from bursting out with laughter at a funeral or punching an old lady on the subway because she took the last seat. I mean, sure, I guess being a good person is part of it, but you can't deny that the societal backlash from certain actions and behaviors is enough to prevent us from doing a lot of things. I hate it when people feel comfortable just to say whatever they want, whenever they want, to whoever they want, anytime they want. I think I already said whenever, so anytime is, I didn't need to say that, but you get the idea. Like, I hate reviews and explanations of drama that are so exaggerated that whatever description you're making is not even really accurate, and it's just mean at this point. And if you point it out, that person will just say, what? I'm just expressing my genuine opinion that may be so, but you're also being a jerk. Being authentic and being yourself does not give you free reign to treat people any way you want just because you're so real like that. There is a way to be honest and real with people while still maintaining their dignity and showing basic respect for others. I mean, sometimes this behavior gets called out, but I'd say for the most part in my experience, if somebody is bashing something that the internet has already decided they don't like, they can essentially say anything. Doesn't matter if it's fair. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if it's true. If we decide we don't like it, or you're trying to convince us not to like something, it'll get attention either way. It doesn't really matter if it's factual or fair or right or just or insert another adjective, because all publicity is good publicity. And attention, good or bad, in some way on the internet, it's weird, but all attention is seen as approval. In a way. Hold on. Let me explain that. Because at its core, you are telling the person, hey, we as the internet are going to interact with this anytime you do it. If you keep doing this, we will keep talking about it. It therefore incentivizes the person to keep doing the thing, good or bad. The only form of disapproval that actually works on the internet is to not give it attention. Like, have you ever made a video that got like almost no views? I myself have done it many times. If you have, you know that feeling of never wanting to do that again? Like, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, I put all this work into this and nobody's even watching it. I don't want to do this. I mean, that's why people have to make videos about, no, if you're going to start your YouTube channel, keep going. Don't pay attention to the numbers. Just keep doing it for the love of art. But it's like really hard to do that when there are 3 views average. That feeling that you're feeling, you can do that to somebody else. The best tool you have on the internet to stop them from doing something is to ignore it. So yeah, if there's somebody on the internet that you really don't like, don't give them a dislike or a hate comment. Just block them. Refusing to give them attention is the best defense you have. So in the end, understand how you are presenting yourself. Show basic respect for other people. And if you are going to be stupid and bad, do everybody a favor and just do it at home. I still have wet napkins from the beginning.